Welcome back, guys. It's already February 2023, and we totally forgot to go over our expenses for 2022 on the boat. So stick around, and we'll tell you all about it. So we started 2022 up in New York. We were planning to come down to Florida in the summer, but we winter stored up in frigid New York State, in upstate New York, and we were getting the boat ready to take the intracoastal waterway trip from New York down to Florida, our new home state. So we did a lot of prepping and repair work prior to taking that trip. Obviously, we didn't want to have the issues, but we kept a good log of it, and we're going to go over each item. So in January 2022, we went in the boat when it was up on the hard and winterized, and we replaced the generator exhaust hoses and the muffler hoses off of the generator at a cost of about $200. We did that work ourselves. We didn't pay any mechanics, so that was just material price and clamps. So we got that done in January. In April 2022, once the boat was getting ready to go in the water, we replaced the thrusters, the bow and stern thruster zincs, and also the shaft zincs. We actually use aluminum anodes, not zinc, so they're a little bit better in brackish water. We painted the bottom with ablative anti-fouling paint from West Marine. Let's see, we had, those costs were about $300 each. I mean, $300 for total. We also had the props reconditioned, and that was done for $650. We reduced the pitch on our prop to a 20-inch pitch, so that was a little bit more work to get that done, but they seem to work out well. In May, let's see, once we were in the water in May, we discovered right away that our forward stateroom cabin hatch was cracked and leaking water. Actually, we discovered that the day the boat went in the water. So we had to replace that pronto. That cost $500, and we got that 20-inch escape hatch from boatoutfitters.com. They had the exact replacement in stock, so that went relatively easily. In June 2022, we were getting ready for the intracoastal waterway trip, so we replaced both engine impellers. They cost about $45 each. If you were to pay somebody to actually do that work, we did it ourselves, so no mechanic involved. But if you had to pay somebody, that would probably be upwards of $400 of work. So the impellers themselves and the seals are just $45. When we were already underway, we replaced fuel filters in both engines at a cost of about $40. We did not have much of any expenses on the ICW trip coming down the month of July into August. Just some fluids were topped off, so negligible costs for that, maybe $50 if that, in a few quarts of oil for the engines and for the transmissions. So no major expenses during the ICW trip. Of course, the gas expenses, which I'm not going to include in this, but we spent over $10,000 in gas just getting the boat down from New York to Florida. If you want to hear more about that, I'll leave the link to the description where we talked about all of our expenses on the ICW trip. Okay, once we got home, we unfortunately had to endure Hurricane Ian. The boat was not as damaged as we thought it would be. We haven't had everything looked at yet from a mechanic standpoint. I do have a professional mechanic lined up. Actually, this boat is coming out of the water tomorrow, and we'll have that video out for you. We're bringing it to a boat yard, lifting it up out of the water, getting the work done, the running gear work looked at, and gel coat work repaired. But we're going to need some work done. That'll be 2023 expenses, so we won't get into that. I'll talk more about it later. But we're going to need some gel coat repairs. Our trim tabs are bent. A seat cushion needs to get replaced. Let's see, what else did we need? We're going to need the props reconditioned again because they were a little banged up. Don't know the condition of the cutlass bearings and shaft seals. They appear okay, but I have a slight leak coming out of one of the seals for the rudder on the starboard side. So I'm going to have that looked at. That might just need to be tightened. So we'll check that out also. After the hurricane, after the boat was back in the water, we changed the oil on the generator and the plugs and filter, and that cost another $40. We had some water in the generator. We had to flush out the oil. Let's see, in December 2023, we replaced the cooling hoses to both the Cool Fuel modules. They both started leaking at the same time, which was odd, but those hoses cost $160, about $80 each for each setup. That was replaced in part of a larger project we worked on as far as with the Cool Fuel modules, replacing the top caps and the regulators and doing work on that. So in addition to the $160 for the cooling hoses, that work, the top cap, if you were to buy that, was $400 for a new top cap and regulator. We removed all of that and cleaned it all out. It was a lot of labor. Again, we did it all ourselves, so we're just paying for material costs. Okay, in addition, we installed a motor flush kit extension hoses. So the Mercruiser 6.2 Horizons have flush hoses that are mounted to the manifolds on both sides of the engine. They were very tough to get to with a garden hose when you want to flush the motor out, so I had them extended out to the lazarette area. And now I could just easily just get the lazarette, hook the flush hoses up there rather than dragging a hose in the salon, opening up the hatches and go underneath the rug to and getting water wherever. So those worked out great. So that wasn't too expensive. That only cost about $50 in rubber hoses, nothing fancy, and a couple splice fittings. We also replaced the fuel lines and filter to our generator. The fuel lines began to get a little bit of corroded, dry rotted. So we replaced a section of the fuel lines and also the filter. That was about $30. A big ticket item was a full tune-up on both engines. We did plugs, wires, cap, and rotor at a cost of about $650 just in material parts. I did all the labor myself, so no cost for the labor. That was a big ticket item this year. We also replaced the fire extinguisher, one of the fire extinguishers on the boat, $32. If you don't already know, there's a new Coast Guard rule that fire extinguishers cannot be over 10 years old on the boat. There's a date stamped on the bottom of your fire extinguisher, so check that date. If it's more than 10 years old, you need to replace that fire extinguisher, even if it still says it's green on the gauge after inspection. That's a new rule that they came out with, so check that out. You could get a ticket if you get pulled over. It's one of the inspection items when they do a boat inspection. We also had to replace one of our engine dipsticks, not a major job, but $40 nonetheless. So that was pretty much the gist of all of our repairs for the boat in 2022. To compare the cost to other years, so a total cost of maintenance items only were $3,182 for 2022. That is slightly less from 2021, where we spent $3,700, and much less than 2020, when we spent $4,200, which is the year, I believe, right after we bought the boat. So we spent a lot of money on that repair. So there you have it, $3,100 plus just in pretty much just parts for the boat. If you were to add labor into that, if I had to pay somebody to do all that work, you're looking at probably 3 times that amount to get that work done. So I do save a boatload of money if you do the work yourself. So watch those YouTube videos and try to do as much as you can, as much as you physically can, and save yourself some money. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Quick video. We have a lot in store for 2023. We have to do the work on the boat. I will be documenting all of that and sharing that with you. We're hoping the boat isn't held up too long. I'm guessing it's going to be at least a month on the hard, if not longer, to get the work we need to get done. Many of the marinas here in this part of Florida do not allow you boat owners to work on the boat themselves. So we're going to have to pay a mechanic to do the work on most of the boat, which is going to be quite an eye-opener when we see the cost for that. So more to come on that, and we will keep you updated with the hurricane repairs. But in the meantime, we will still be out on our pontoon boat, enjoying the waters of Southwest Florida. So thanks for sticking along. We'll keep you updated. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.